A tiny fly circles the banana bowl. It lands on the brown spot near the stem, lifts off, comes back, disappears for half a second, then appears again beside the sink. You clap your hands around it. Miss. You wait. It lands on the counter. This time, you crush it with your finger. And for one quiet second, the kitchen feels clean again. Then another one rises from somewhere near the drain. Before you kill another one, pause. Because if fruit flies keep coming back no matter how many you smash, trap, or spray, you are probably missing where they are really being born. Most people think the problem is the flying insect. That makes sense. It is the part you can see. It is the thing hovering over your fruit, landing on your glass, drifting around your trash can like the kitchen has been marked. So you go after the adults. You slap them against the wall. You set out vinegar traps. You wave a towel through the air. You spray the corner near the garbage can. And when the little bodies vanish, it feels like you won. But the strangest part is what happens after the room looks empty. The next morning, there they are again. Not one, not two. A little cloud, floating over the sink like they came through a crack in the air. And that is the moment people start saying the same thing. Where are they coming from? The uncomfortable answer is this. They are not coming from nowhere. They are coming from a place small enough for you to ignore, wet enough to stay alive, and rotten enough to feed a nursery. That banana on the counter may be part of the story, but it may not be the whole story. The real nest may be under the rim of the trash can, inside the drain, in the garbage disposal, at the bottom of a recycling bin, on a sticky bottle you thought was empty, under a forgotten onion, behind the coffee maker, inside a mop head that never fully dried. That is where the story changes. A fruit fly does not need a nest that looks like a nest. It does not need twigs, paper, webbing, mud, or a visible cluster of eggs. It needs something much easier for a kitchen to provide. A damp film, a smear of fermenting material, a soft patch of overripe fruit, a little organic residue clinging to a surface you never inspect. To you, it looks like nothing. To them, it is a birthplace. And that is why this infestation feels impossible. You are attacking the flying adults while the next generation is developing in the dark. Here is the part that changes everything. The adult fruit fly is not the center of the problem. It is the signal. It is the smoke coming from a fire hidden behind the wall. By the time you see tiny flies in the air, something has already been feeding quietly somewhere nearby. A female found the right material, the right moisture, the right smell of fermentation, and that small, disgusting patch became enough. Not enough for one fly, enough for a cycle. Eggs can be laid where the food is. The larvae do not need to travel through your kitchen looking for dinner. They hatch inside the problem. They feed where they were placed, in the wet, sour film that your sponge missed, your trash bag leaked onto, or your drain has been holding under the metal ring. You may never see them. That is the disturbing part. The stage that keeps the infestation alive is usually not the one flying in front of your face. The real action is happening where you cannot see it. Picture the inside of a kitchen drain, not the shiny circle at the top. Below that, where water slows down, where pulp catches, where sugary liquid dries into a thin coat, where old fruit juice, bits of food, and moisture become a dark, sour lining. You rinse the sink and it looks clean. But beneath the surface, a film can remain. And in that film, a fruit fly problem can keep breathing. This is why pouring your frustration into the air does not work. You can kill every adult you see at 9 p.m. and still wake up to movement at 7 a.m. because the nursery was never touched. A trap catches the messengers. It does not erase the birthplace. And once you understand that, the entire kitchen looks different. The brown banana is no longer just a brown banana. The trash can is no longer just a trash can. The sink is no longer just a sink. Every damp, sticky, fermenting corner becomes a possible door. And this is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Fruit flies are not powerful because they are big. They are powerful because they are fast. In warm, favorable conditions, their life cycle can move with shocking speed. What looks like a small annoyance on Monday can become a repeating wave before the week is over. That is the devastating fact most people never feel until their kitchen proves it to them. You are not seeing the same flies forever. You may be seeing replacements. One tiny adult dies on the counter, and somewhere else, hidden in a smear you have not found, another one is already becoming real. That is why the problem feels personal. It feels like they are outsmarting you. But they are not thinking like that. They are following the scent of decay, moisture, sugar, and fermentation with brutal simplicity. You left the right signal in the room. They found it. Most people blame the fruit bowl because that is the obvious stage. The banana is visible. The peach is soft. The tomato has split. The grapes have one bad spot at the bottom of the bag. And yes, that can be enough. Overripe fruit and vegetables are classic breeding sites. A banana peel, an apple core, a soft potato, a rotting onion, even a piece of produce that rolled behind something and stayed there can become the hidden source. But the trap is thinking only the fruit matters. Because fruit flies can also follow the kitchen's darker routes. A garbage disposal with residue inside. A trash container with liquid under the bag. A recycling bin with one sweet drink bottle that was never rinsed. A damp rag beside the sink. A mop that smells slightly sour. A drain where organic material has collected in the pipe. These are not dramatic places. They are ordinary. That is why they win. The real nest is not always a nest you can point at. Sometimes it is a wet ring of rot. Sometimes it is a film. Sometimes it is a film. Sometimes it is one forgotten piece of fruit softening in a place your eyes stop checking. Let that settle for a moment. The thing you are trying to kill in the air may have been born in something you walked past all week. This is a reversal. You are not fighting flies. You are fighting their nursery. Once that sentence lands, the whole strategy changes. You stop chasing the speck in the air like it is the whole enemy. You start asking a better question. Where is the wet food source? Not where are the adults resting. Not where do I see them flying. Where are the annultsabdes? Where there's doughless? Den hobbarande big buffo or parvulve, will ik? Will ik jouw korpar visolen to be a practice federation is of stages. That question leads you under the bag in the trash can. It leads you to the bottom of the fruit bowl. It leads you to the soft potato in the pantry. It leads you to the recycling bin, the drain, the disposal, the sticky countersink, the damp cloth, the compost container, the bottle with a few drops left inside, and suddenly the infestation becomes less supernatural, still disgusting, still annoying, but no longer mysterious. Before you set another trap, find what is feeding the next generation. That does not mean traps are useless. A vinegar trap can reduce the adults. It can make the room feel calmer. It can catch the ones already flying around your kitchen. But if the source remains, the trap becomes a confession. It tells you adults are present. It does not prove the nursery is gone. The real work is quieter. Remove the overripe fruit. Do not just move it to another counter. Take it out, seal it, or refrigerate what can still be saved. Check the produce you do not think about. Onions, potatoes, squash, tomatoes, anything stored low, dark, or out of sight. Empty the trash before it smells sweet and sour. Wash the inside of the trash can, not just the bag. Rinse bottles and cans before they sit in recycling. Do not leave wet rags folded beside the sink. And if the flies keep appearing near the drain, treat the drain like a surface, not a hole. Because the problem is often not the water you pour down. It is the organic film clinging to the inside. That means cleaning has to reach the material itself. Scrubbing, flushing, and removing residue matters more than perfume, panic, or spraying the air. Spray may knock down adults. It does not scrape a nursery off the inside of a pipe. That is the mistake. People try to poison the symptom while feeding the source. And the source does not need much. A little moisture. A little rot. A little time. That is enough for the kitchen to become a breeding site while still looking normal from across the room. Here is why this matters beyond annoyance. The fruit fly problem changes how you read your home. Those tiny insects are not just random invaders. They are clues. They are pointing toward decay, residue, moisture, and neglected organic matter. They make visible what your eyes missed. The fly above the fruit bowl is annoying, but it is also information. It is telling you something is fermenting. Something is wet. Something has been left long enough to become useful to them. That does not make fruit flies your friend. It does not mean you should welcome them. It means the smartest move is not rage. It is investigation. Because the adult fly is the final scene of a story that started somewhere else. By the time it crosses your face, the kitchen has already offered it a beginning. So the next time you see one, do not only swing at it. Watch it. Where does it return? Does it keep drifting toward the sink? Does it hover around the trash? Does it rise when you open the recycling bin? Does it appear every time you move the fruit bowl? Does it gather near one dark corner of the counter where something sticky dried days ago? That flight path may be the map. Tiny, irritating, almost invisible. But still a map. And when you finally find the source, it rarely looks impressive. A blackened banana peel under the liner. A sour smell in the drain. A leaking trash bag. A forgotten onion collapsing in its own skin. A bottle with a sticky ring at the bottom. A damp rag that has become a small, hidden swamp. Not a monster. Not a nest in the way you imagined. Just a perfect little cradle. That is the part that stays with you. You thought the fly was the invasion, but the invasion was the condition you could not see. The adult was only the surface. The nursery was the engine. When you clean that engine, the kitchen changes. The air becomes still. The fruit bowl stops vibrating with movement. The sink stops producing ghosts. And the next tiny fly you see does not feel like a curse. It feels like a warning you now know how to read. Go back to the first image. The banana on the counter. The little fly landing, lifting, circling. Your hand ready to crush it. You can still kill that fly. But now you know it was not. The whole story. It was a clue with wings. And if you ignore the clue, the room will keep making more. If fruit flies keep coming back, stop asking why they will not die. Ask where they are being born. And if you have ever found the hidden source in your kitchen, the drain, the trash can, the fruit bowl, or somewhere worse, tell me where it was. Subscribe, because the next tiny thing you almost dismiss may be revealing a hidden system inside your home.